Come along with me this morning as I kind of get things ready for the week ahead. I'm gonna clean my produce, just get it ready, show you how I kind of meal prep in a way without actually meal prepping, and how I make my week as a large family mom and a homeschooling mom so much easier. Let's go. I do have some kids playing behind me, so if you hear laughter, fighting, crying, whatever, just ignore that. But first things first, I am trying to get in the habit of making a sourdough bread, if not every day, at least every other day. So I'm gonna start that, get that going for tonight, start tomorrow's bread, and then we'll get into the produce and stuff. I am by no means a sourdough expert. In fact, none of my sourdough ever turns out pretty, but it always tastes good, and that's all that matters to me. I'm sure I'm doing things completely wrong. For instance, I know I'm scoring this probably not the correct way, but the bread always turns out tasty, and that's all that matters to me. When I get produce from the store, I always make sure to let it sit for a while in some water with a splash of vinegar. This helps keep all of the gross stuff off of it. I used to work on a college campus prepping food and doing stuff like this, and you would not believe how disgusting produce actually is. So I always make sure to do good washings. I highly suggest at the beginning of every week to fill a 9x13 pan with cut up veggies. This helps your kids get veggies in because the snack is always available. And if you put it on your table or on your kitchen counter while you're making dinner, you're not having quite as bad of a witching hour as if they're just waiting for food. We go through so many hard-boiled eggs in this family that this little contraption that I'm using has been wonderful. I used to have the 6-count one, now I have it so I can make a dozen at a time, but basically it's called like the Go Dash or the Dash Go egg cooker. And all you do is you poke some holes in your eggs and throw some water in there, and it starts hard-boiling your eggs. You can use it to cook other ways. I have never done it before, but it makes even my farm fresh laid that morning eggs so easy to peel, and it's so convenient. Definitely check this out if you like hard-boiled eggs. I will link it down below. Pulled the sourdough bread out of the oven, and this is what it looks like. Once again, probably not perfect, but tasty. If I don't meal plan, I will just pull out some random cuts of meat and put it in a 9x13 pan, so that way I can pull it out later throughout the week. Meat is ready. Grapes are one of my favorite food because they last for so long that when they're on sale I can buy so much, but man are they dirty. Like I mentioned earlier, I used to work with fruit and grapes were always the nastiest, so I let grapes sit the longest. And then I also like to cut up 1 to 3 onions at the beginning of the week so I don't have to do it later. I know that I'm going to have a roast, and I know I'm having pork chops this week, so I did at least 2. But kind of guessing what I'm going to use throughout the week, I'll cut up a few and have them ready to go. Next up, I am making protein balls. I don't make these every week, but I know that I wanted to have these on hand because I have recently started working out again and I am sore. Now, I like to make these with 1UP protein, but you can make these with any protein you like. I will link 1UP Nutrition down below. Their protein powder, I can tell a difference between them and just like your typical Walmart protein powder or just random ones that I've tried. This is by far my favorite. And then there's no real rhyme or reason to doing this. You can add whatever you want. You just want to make sure you have the peanut butter and the honey and the oats to kind of help stick together. I like to grind up some flaxseed. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not going to use all that flaxseed. Some of it's going to be for oatmeal. But I throw in flaxseed. I throw in chia seeds. I throw in just random things. I've even thrown in like vitamin C powder before during the winter just to help the kids with that little boost of nutrition. You can make these any size you want. I just have a normal cookie dough scooper thing here that I'm using, and then I just throw it in the freezer for a few hours. These are great. Like, just throw these in a Ziploc bag with some grapes and it's a perfect on-the-go snack for your kids. You can also just keep these in the freezer for quick snacks for later on. We will go through these within 2 days easily, but if your family's not quite as large as mine, maybe you won't use as much. Here is something that I do every week, sometimes even twice a week, is I make overnight oats. It is the quickest breakfast ever. You can customize it to your taste. You can use fruits, you can use protein powders, all sorts of stuff. Great for breakfast, great for snacks. This is another thing where you can add chia seeds, you can add flax seeds, you can add vitamin C. You can add whatever you want to this. I will put a link down below to the blog post of this where you can kind of see the different variations you can make. More often than not, I would say 95% of the time, I am making maple and brown sugar. I obviously go through a lot of oats. I buy my oats from Azure Standard. I just buy the big 50-pound organic bag. I will link them down below if you have never used them. They are great to bulk buy. I had to pull the cutting board back out because I forgot all about the celery. Normally we don't have this much celery, but I want to try to can up some chicken pot pie filling, so I'm going to get that a little bit prepared. I am cutting it 2 different ways, one tiny chops for the roast and the chicken pot pie filling, and then the other just log, so this means they're available to make them real quick. When I have this many grapes, I will store it 2 different ways. The first way is I just fill up a big jar, big bowl with water, and then put the ones I know we're gonna eat right away just in a Tupperware glass jar. Nothing fancy with that. But when they're in water like this, they last longer. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. I really hope that you can implement some of these things just to make your week go a lot more smoother with all of these kids.